Wow. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. I'm Ryan Walker with Chomp Studio, and we're kicking off 2024 with another awesome cinematic trailer. I haven't seen an Elder Scrolls trailer in quite some time, and last time I watched it, it was amazing and super entertaining and well done. So I'm excited to see what Elder Scrolls has brought to 2024 in terms of their cinematics. So as we like to do around here, let's check out the trailer. I won't talk too much. Second half of the video, let's break down some cool VFX or animation stuff that we like and how we can incorporate that into our designs. So as always, let's try to keep the talking to a minimum. Let's check out the cinematic announcement trailer for Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road. Ooh, I love this environment already. Just the teaser, huh? That goldy glowy water is really cool. Ooh, I love this helicopter shot. Man, she looks good too. I love this score too. Getting little tastes and bites of everything. I like that. Gosh. Yes. That's awesome. Oh. It's like phasing through it. All right, the barbarian yell is kind of hilarious. Dang, nice. Wow, nice particle work. He looks awesome too. Wow. Love that environment. Yeah, nice. Get to see the face a little bit more on her character. She looks really good. The other guys are a little covered up. Okay, I was gonna say, that was really fast. Oh, it was just a little bit extra teaser there. All right, I mean, this is a great looking cinematic trailer. There's a lot of awesome things in here that are happening, and it's just, we get a taste of so many different environments and settings very quickly, all condensed in this little timeline. So, as always, let's go back, and I just wanna point out a couple things that really stood out, but otherwise, just an awesome looking Elder Scrolls trailer. Really enjoyed this. So in the opening shot here, I really like the tease of these floating rock pillars that are around. And again, I'm a sucker for the teal and blue contrast with a little bit of gold that comes in later. I also like the dust and the atmosphere that's happening in here. A great little teaser setting for what's coming up later on in the cinematic. The slow-mo particle effects in this is also really cool. The explosion, everything slows down. Really nice time remapping on that with tons of detail and little extra particle glows going on. Really cool graphics on that as well. Quick call out, I love the glowy bits that are happening in the water, but I also like a little bit of caustics or the water reflections that are lighting his hand a little bit. We also start to see those caustics shimmering and glowing on his boots. Really subtle, but really hits home that effect when light is hitting water. That's just a really good effect, and I really like how that looks. And then we kind of get into the meat of the cinematic where we're in our main opening setting. And the first thing that caught my eye is I love this opening shot that feels like we're on a helicopter with a super long, 1, 2, 300 millimeter lens. So we're getting our subject in there but we're getting this long parallax in the background because our lens is so long and our camera move going around is also so wide. We're just getting that super perspective, that super parallax that you get in like ski films and stuff like that. Really great opening shot to establish where we are, what's happening, and then they cut into a nice close-up shot of our characters starting to go through this valley, through this journey, this short but fast travel montage that they're trying to cram really quick in this trailer. And I just really like how this starts. And not to mention throughout this, and we'll mention it here as well, the overall environment creation in this, all the trees and the foliage, it's ridiculously awesome. And I really like the haze that's going in and out of the trees as well in this long shot, with a little bit of a glimpse of where we're trying to get to in the background with that city. Cool establishing shot, really like it. The shot of our characters here also look really well, and by no means am I knocking this because these characters look amazing. I really like how she looks. For some reason, she kind of stands out a little bit more realistic to me. I don't really know why that is, but maybe it's because these other characters are a little bit more covered up. One has a helmet, one's kind of got his shroud on, but I like it. Let me know what you guys think. We've been watching a lot with World of Warcraft and how their characters are looking. We talked about Cyberpunk and how Idris Elba looked. How do you guys think this falls into that realm? Because we see a trend of these hyper-realistic facial animations and characters coming up. Is this Elder Scrolls trailer keeping up with that? Let me know what you guys think. Another quick call out to the three characters standing here, side by side, looking to our camera right. I love how the shot looks of our three hero characters. It gives them a nice little breath and a nice little moment. They all look epic, got this nice sunlight hitting their faces. And it's just a good hero establishing shot of our three guys. And they're kind of leading us screen right. That's where they're looking, and that's the direction they'll be traveling in for the rest of the cinematic. That's just a good way to direct and lead our story and having a consistent sense of purpose, direction, and travel of where they're going. Just a quick mention of while they're walking down these sketchy steps, I love this old ancient terrain that they're in. Not only do the modern walls and the rock wall feel cool, but how it's in the side of the earth. We have this big pit of despair, obviously on the side that they could fall in, but then breaking up all the blacks and grays of the rock with our red, yellow, the leaves changing colors throughout the seasons forest that we're getting. Great pop of color and just great way to accentuate our scene. And it's just a good way to frame our characters in the middle of the scene here, so it really brings our eye right to them. And then we get this second shot of our main antagonist. He just looks awesome. I love the tattoos, the scarring, and also the look of his eyes and horns. Just really cool texture. You obviously get that this is the bad guy, but he looks awesome. The thing that I really like about this shot too, that stood out to me a lot, if you look really close on the ears, they did such a great job of how your ears actually react when you have sunlight behind them. So you have a little bit of transparency there, also known as subsurface scattering, and that just makes those ears feel super realistic, and that's just a real phenomenon that happens with thin skin and light behind it. So, and that's just a good way to ground this 3D model in a little bit of reality, and it makes them look even better. Also, one thing that I really like throughout this wall sequence, super minor detail, but since we know that there's trees around, we're getting a lot of gobo cookies kind of feeling with light being broken up by the trees and the leaves. I really like how those shadows are breaking up the image, giving it a little bit of texture on top of the rock. Really cool looking. Just a quick shout out to the particle effects. I like how her green particles look that she's shooting, and I like his red teleporting effects. Just really nice looking. I like the smoke and the dust and stuff that's happening in between those. Really cool and really good job. Really love this close up of our barbarian guy. His beard, helmet, everything looks awesome, perfect looking. And I also like, again, breaking up of the light with the shadow, light shining through the trees, going to cast a little bit of shadow, breaking that texture up on him, looks awesome. We believe that he's in the forest because of that, and it looks awesome, looks so good. The random grunting yell thing, little on the fence with that. I get that he's frustrated. It just seems kind of almost makes him feel a little dumb maybe, but I kind of got a little bit of comic relief out of it, but it is a little silly, but you know, still really cool looking. So overall, this whole outdoor scene, love how the rock looks, lighting, shadows, really great sequence. And then I like the next shot where again, we have these top bluish tones on the top of our frame, contrast again with a more gold and orange underneath. Just giving it a cool, misty, mysterious look, and I think it's a great environment. And then we're back in the interior with these scary pillar looking things in the blue environment, and she has all the gold around her. Obviously, the things that stands out the most for me that must have been an incredible amount of work is all the dust atmosphere, but these particle effects that she's controlling and the time remapping and stuff like that had to have been a lot of 3D work and dynamics to pull this off, and I think they did a really good job. Looks cinematic, and all the little extra details and bits and bobs just helps really sell the effect that's happening here. So this side dolly shot, for some reason, feels a little off to me. I can't really put my finger on it right now. Maybe it's the fact that we have such depth in our scene, but no depth of field. Nothing's out of focus. And it almost feels like the mocap or something here is a higher frame rate. I'm not sure. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe it's just me, but his walking seems it's a higher frame rate or almost too perfect. I don't know if it's missing some motion blur or what it is, but I think overall the scene looks great. I think they could have played a little bit more with light shafts spilling into his area and chopping up the scene a little bit. It's a little bit too perfectly lit, as well as maybe some foreground elements that are parallaxing and moving with it to break it up with a little bit of depth of field to give it more of a cinematic look. Because right now it just feels like that's maybe a matte painting behind them. It's not actually 3D. And it just feels all perfectly in focus and there's no depth of field. So it feels a little bit off. It still looks great. I think they could have tweaked it a little bit more though. And again, I don't want to make this all negative comments, but the scene really quick where they are drawing all their weapons. This scene, in contrast to what we just saw, this scene looks great, has a nice mood to it. We have lots of contrast and shadows and light shafts. It's dramatic. It's a dramatic shot versus the other one, right? The thing that maybe also again feels weird in this shot, and maybe it's just me, is my eye was first drawn to the barbarian guy, and just the way the barbarian guy walks down the stairs and he's kind of, a little uneven and off balance, kind of like how a toddler would walk. I don't know if that was a mistake. I don't know if it's mocap or hand animated, but it feels like someone kind of was off balance when they were going down the stairs in the studio doing their mocap. It just feels not as athletic as you would expect these big fighters and these warriors to be. It feels a little not as coordinated, not athletic, I think is the best way to put it. But it just kind of took me out for just a second. But let me know what you guys think. Maybe that's over critiquing a little bit because, no matter what, this is all amazing. I couldn't do it. But let me know what you guys think about that. Another shot that really stood out to me and kind of stole the show is this downward angle where we're kind of looking at the demon looking guy who's looking up the camera and yelling. For some reason, this shot just looks really good. I don't know if it's just the angle or the lighting. His chest and his body isn't super textured or super detailed, but his horns and his face are, and I think that really sells it. But just the performance of the face and stuff here, I don't mind it. I think it totally works. But this camera angle is just really dramatic and all the energy that's happening around him. This was just a really good shot that stood out for me, and I love it. It looks great. So throughout this, we have a lot of cutting of the similar things. We have the environment that they are in that has a little bit of gold. We have the environment that she's in that's dark blue. It's just a lot of cutting back and forth. Things are building, very similar shots just being sort of chopped up. So as a full sequence, I like how it's looking. There's a little bit of sense of urgency that something's happening between the portal and her and them and timing. And I like how it all looks. I love the cutting back and forth, and I think it looks great and it's totally working again. All right, and so now we're getting back to the part where the portal closes. I just wanted to call out, I love the high orange side of the frame with the blue colors on the left side of the frame, and the portal closing, that residual ring effect that they're doing afterwards. I think that's a really good art direction and concept idea that I haven't seen before. The residual effects of that portal closing, I really like how that looks. The kind of the solar flare ring particle effect of it, really cool idea. Love that a lot. Stood out for me. And then one of the final scenes here, we have a perfect shaft of light where all of our heroes are, the portal close. Again, nice atmosphere, blue tones. And again, this is kind of like what we were just talking about with the scene where it's completely on the side, but this, we have some depth, we have foreground, we have background. The foreground is a little bit, out of focus, a little bit of depth of field, same with the back, but those elements, they're transitioning and moving to give the scene whole parallax, and it doesn't feel like sideways shot that we were talking about earlier. So really like this, really moody, and they're using light and shadows again to paint out their scene, and it looks great. And then just a quick mention on the last shot after the first set of credits rolled, we get a teaser of the girl who transported into the city. The establishing opening shot of this city looks amazing. We have beautiful sun and atmosphere and glow. Leaves are changing, so we see those orange and yellow trees scattered throughout. The town, the bridge, the towers, the buildings, highly detailed, and it just looks really good. I love how this looks. And then we end with her in a alleyway somewhere. Now we're in the city. We get a sense of where we're at. She's going towards what looks like a cathedral or a tower. Maybe there's some importance there, kind of teasing what's coming up. And the trailer ends, and it's all we got. So there we go, guys. Another awesome cinematic trailer, this time Elder Scrolls. And again, they just knocked these out of the park and they look really good. As always, guys, hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next Motion Design Reacts video. Have a great one, guys.